We're having to make a quick decision, and I want you to tell us what you think about this decision, and see, kind of help us make the right one. I don't know what to do. It's not really a dilemma. It's not a bad or a good situation. It's just one of those things that we just got to decide. Time on a certain situation, you see, it does deal with the trailer.
We are making homemade smoothies this morning for breakfast. Now, this is the first time we will get to add all of our own strawberries, and they're kind of frozen together, so y'all give me just a minute. Our strawberries, our blueberries, homemade vanilla, our yogurt, and our honey.
Good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
You love it? Update on our Broody hens. I wish I would have had the camera with me a while ago, but unfortunately I didn't. I didn't have time to grab it. I was running out. We have somewhere to go. I thought, well, at least I can walk y'all out to the back porch. A total of 9 ducks. 5 baby ooh, I'm showing y'all the wrong place. 9 baby ducks, 5 turkeys that hatched out from our hens that are sitting. There are 2 big turkeys in there that come from the incubator. Those don't count, but all of the other babies in here in our brood box all come from the Broody hens down in the back. So what I did down there is, y'all saw them in their little small cage. I took them out, cleaned their bedding out, gave them new food, spruced up their water. We have a little scrub brush, scrubbed their water, refilled it up, put them back in there on 2 fake eggs. I have some more turkey eggs that I will walk back out tomorrow and put under them and let them hatch again. So they're doing their job, obviously. Lots of babies in there, and hopefully we can get these sold, because I do not need any more ducks right now.
So we're doing a little switch around. We use the sheep paddock now for the cattle. And the 5 acres that we took, or 5.5, 6 acres that we took in right in front of the house, right there, you see the grass is growing, but because we're not tilling, because we're not disking, because we're not fertilizing those fields other than natural fertilization, cows came in, moved in, and got the grass somewhat established. To me, I do think the sheep do a little bit better, because they don't put as much harm on the product as much. They don't eat as quick. Their manure spreads better than what cattle does. So we're going to allow the sheep to come in on this property. Now the grass is pretty good in some areas and trash in the others, but we're wanting to grow our cattle herd, so we're going to allow the sheep to help us here. Now, you know, the cattle's in here. They're doing phenomenal. Actually, they still have grass all in their pasture right there. They've been eating under the trees. They're looking fatter than ever, actually. We're running right now, we're running about nine head of cow. We have 17 total, but 9 are here. Actually 18 total, but 9 are here, 9 are at the big farm. And we're running only 10 acres, but we have tons of grass. Actually, because of our management, we can maneuver really 2 more cows here easy. But here's what I'm saying. We're not even utilizing that 5 acres yet. What I'm hoping, since we opened the sheep paddock back here to the cattle, we're not hardly using those at all. So I'm gonna put the sheep in there and see if the sheep can get the grass growing like it's supposed to before we get into the dead hot dead summer of August. And we'll plant winter grass there like we did last year, fescue and rye. But we need to go ahead and make sure that Bermuda and that Bahia has got a good stand before we move cows back in there. So everywhere the sheep were, now the cattle are, and the sheep are now going to go where the cattle were, doing a little switcheroo. But I think it's going to be for the best, because the sheep made this grass, all these areas back here. We let them finish off one little spot that the cows didn't finish off. but they just do better. They spread the manure better. They do better quality management, actually, I think. So let's see what they can do there. I'm not really freaked out. Now this is a long walk, so we're on the very back side of the acreage by that church and by our main drive coming in. And you see where the house is way back there. That field's right in front of that house. So we're gonna go into it. We're gonna have to go down the road where we bring the cattle, through the gate, and come all the way back up in the field. Now they're pretty good at following. Trump's gotten to where, you know, he wants to butt you on your hip just trying to get to the food, but they follow really good. So I'm not worried about them not following me, all four of them, all the way down. So cows think they're moving. They see the white bucket. Go and open it. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Come on, Lily. Watch out. Yeah. So we made this decision to bring Lily home to our farm. We don't know if we're keeping Lily. We don't know if we're going to sell Lily. You know, our heart is really with our Herefords and Jerseys. And of course, Uno and Valor will be our next steers for the farm. But Ginger and Holly, you know, we've sold Ferdinand. So really the only, other than Herefords and Jerseys, is we have 3 Angus mamas. Or 1 heifer, which is Lily. And 2 Angus mamas, which are Uno and Valor's mamas, which are going to be Ginger and Holly. Eventually, we're going to weed out our Angus and Brangus herds. Well, Lily is growing on phenomenal, but I just don't know if she's right for our farm. We're looking for more of a lower, shorter, fatter statured cow, kind of like the Herefords are. Now, some of the Anguses are lower, but mostly these are Brangus bred, so they tend to have some Bramer in them, which makes them a little bit bigger. That means they have a bigger imprint on your grass and a bigger imprint on your farm. And we're trying to keep it to more of a smaller herd, a lot fatter to give us beef, but not as tall and big structured bones, kind of like a Charolais or a Brahma breed. So you can see her back legs are actually higher than Allie's, and she's only a year old. So she is going to be a big statured cow. She has a big mama, a big daddy, which is Holly, and then of course Ferdinand that you knew on our farm. So this farm and our homestead, you see our grass is phenomenal. We actually have more grass than cattle right now, which is a great problem to have. I'm not complaining by any means. But at the big farm, because it's a newer farm and it's not as much regenerative as I like it because it's tied to some family, so we don't rotate as heavy up there. Because of that, that grass is not growing as well as the actual homestead that I have here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be transitioning some of those animals here. We sold our bull, which is Ferdinand. We brought all the Herefords here, if you remember that. Of course, they've been here for months. Right now, we're going to let Lily chill here. Now, she is supposedly bred to Bobo, the rental bull that you saw. So we're going to do 2 things. We're either going to, and just give us your ideas, see what you think. Leave below your comments about what your thoughts are. We're either going to keep her, and of course she'll just stay on farm, and she'll pretty much just put off meat, such as steers, or she'll put off heifers, which we'll just turn around and sell once they're weaned. More of a cattle-calf operation, and I don't know, I'm not really a cow-calf operation person, not for any reason other than that's not my desire for the homestead. Not saying that we won't sell some, because we have, but that is not my desire, and especially for having a bigger animal, bigger bone structured cow, such as an Angus or Brangus breed, or a Brahma or Charolais. We have some Charolais up there too that we're going to be fizzling out. But the whole purpose is we've either got to decide, okay, we're going to leave her on farm here, or we're going to sell her to a farm that she'll do well with. Now, I've told you before, I'm not a big proponent of sale barns. I'm not a big proponent of buying or selling from them. If sometimes it has to, it has to. If you have a what they call a cull cow or a kill cow and you need to get rid of it, okay, sell it at the sale barn. But that's not priority, and that's not what we would want unless it's a crazy cow. Like Sizzle, if you remember Sizzle, I sold Sizzle at the sale barn because ultimately he was a problem. He was going to be a problem for anybody. I wouldn't want to sell that to anybody. So I sold him at the sale barn because ultimately he was going to a stockyard. Not that I believe in stockyards or CAFOs. It just is what it is. With her, she is built perfect to make a great replacement heifer or cow one day for somebody's farm. She's got good temperament. She comes from a great line of cows, which of course you've seen Holly, the Brangus mama. And eventually Holly and Ginger will either fizzle out up there or they'll be brought here too. So we're just trying to figure out what the right thing to do. You know, do we keep her and grow, you know, like a cow-calf operation with our commercial Angus herd, or do we sell her and go ahead and make the decision to stay with you know, reds and browns in our fields, which is going to be the Jerseys, Herefords, and then again looking towards either something like a Southpaw, which is a smaller cow, kind of like what Greg Judy grows, but it's just a smaller, fatter cow too. So I think that's the way we're going to lean towards. It's just we've got to transition these other few off the farm. So we're trying to make a decision. Give us your thoughts. Tell us what you think. Is she worth keeping to do a little mini cow-calf operation? Sell her babies off. Maybe that'll buy hay for the year. Or should we just go and sell her and let her grow on somebody else's farm and do well? And us pretty much just say, hey, we've already made the transition to move towards Hereford and Jersey only.